Welcome to the Red Room Radio Show, baby. Let's go. It's your boy Dion. We got Keon here. We got that dude Miguel here.
Dude, greetings.
Everybody know Mike T from Queens. He out in the street doing what he do. Miss Colorado, she's usually on site, but she got some business to attend to, so it's just us three for y'all tonight. That's season 5. That's season 5 of the Cosby's playing in the background, so you already know what the topic is gonna be this evening. You know what we talking about. We talking about old Billy.
Hey.
You better talk to him.
It's Ray Albert.
Oh, shit.
Whoa, she just hijacked
Why you
my
do him
dog.
like that?
She
Why you do him
hijacked
like
my
that?
dog.
It's raping Albert. How about that?
Billy.
There you go.
What is going on?
All in the news.
Somebody please explain.
Whole legacy in question.
Oh,
So okay. So what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with it was legacy, or are we dealing with just a man that's a rapist? Is he a rapist? I don't know. Somebody let me know something,
it's a whole
please.
bunch to deal with. But we'll let the lady in the house take
What you say? Who let the lady house?
take first stab at it.
Well, for those of you not interested or tuned into the television, the sealed court documents were unsealed this week, which notated that Mr. Cosby admitted to giving women drugs, illicit drugs, in hopes of having consensual sex.
Did we get that bell yet, Dion? Because she needs a buzzer right here.
Quaaludes.
Right here. Here's the first buzzer.
Nah, we ain't get the bell
No
yet.
bell.
The bell on order.
Last time I checked,
The bell on
Quaaludes you
order.
cannot get from over the
I wish
counter.
I had that buzzer. I'd go like,
Okay.
but
Oh, that's not what he said in the
no,
court
that's-
documents?
Number one, it was the leading question, and the leading question asks, would you obtain drugs and give it to women that you would like to sleep with?
He said yes.
No,
He
no,
said
no, no,
yes.
no, no, no. That's not right.
Huh?
No, I could have swore it said, "Did you?"
Oh, no.
No, I could have swore it said, "Did you?"
No.
Because that don't even make no sense. Somebody, would you get drugs and give it to women? Yes,
Yes.
I would. Why would you? Why would you?
But
answer
that's
yes?
why. That's what made it leading, right? That's why.
Nah, bruh.
Yeah, but that's why. That's what the media is going to feed you.
Okay, so-
you didn't
No,
read.
no,
Did
no,
you? Hold on.
no,
Hold on.
no, I
Time
think
out.
you're
Time out.
incorrect. I
Did
honestly
you?
believe
Did
you're
you
incorrect.
read the transcript?
I did not read.
Keon, did you read the transcript?
did.
I didn't get my
and,
copy.
And just for the record,
No,
because
did
you
you
know
answer the
Miguel
first part
always
of my
wants.
question?
Yeah, I did.
You read the transcript.
And when the attorney asked him flat out, "Have you?"
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He said yeah.
His attorney got into the
my point.
microphone and said,
We're not
Do
answering
not answer that
Right.
question.
So he has never admitted
So
guilt.
what did he say yes to? Because y'all gonna make me pull up the transcript.
I just told you.
That he did.
They asked a generic
No,
question.
because you're saying that he did. He's saying that he.
It was a
wouldn't.
generic question. Would you
And he said
obtain
yes.
drugs and give it to women you would want to sleep with? Now,
Meaning that
that's
he has done it.
No, that doesn't
Oh,
mean that, because if it did, then the attorneys
Okay,
wouldn't have
so
to jump in and
defend
say
Bill
no.
Cosby
I'm gonna
then.
look it up.
Oh Lord!
Gracious alive.
But this is my point. This is why we always have
So
these.
Dion, that's like me saying
Are
to
you
you.
talking to Dion and I'm talking?
No, well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead, darling.
That's why we keep having these dishonest conversations, right? Because people put things out there and it reads one way and they just run with it because it gives them a 30-minute segment, an hour show,
Oh shit!
and it's not true.
Why you bashing your own show though? Why we got a 30-minute segment on Bill?
No, I'm just saying in
Go
general,
ahead.
the media. You feel me? The media in general. So now she came in here with this ammunition, and I'm ready to give her the bell on the first statement.
Take your bell
Because
and
she's
shove
wrong.
it.
But
I'm not
I,
wrong.
I think you're wrong.
I am
gotta find
absolutely right. I bet you $100.
I'm not wrong. Just
$100.
because
I'm looking for
When
the
when he
transcript.
got challenged as to whether or
you,
not
Did you bring your copy of the transcript?
I did not, but this is what I know. When he got challenged on whether or not he did do those things, his lawyer jumped in and said, "We're not answering those questions." And when you do that, you only do that to protect yourself from the lawsuit. You settle the lawsuit. You're not trying to get sued in the future. So why would you give that sort of information if it's going to open up the door to...
you wouldn't,
like,
but why would you say yes to something
I
that
just
you didn't
explained
do?
what he said yes to. He said...
No.
Okay. Here it is. The transcript is right here, and it reads: "When you got the Quaaludes, was it in your mind that you were going to use these Quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with?"
Yes, but he
Yes.
never said
Please
that
be
he did.
quiet,
No,
Mr.
what do you
Miguel.
mean? What do
No,
you
you
mean?
no, read.
It says when you got. It says when you got them. It
Oh,
says
is it
when
going to
you-
change the words?
Yes.
Wait,
Absolutely will.
wait, Miguel. Hold on. It says when you got them. When you got the drugs,
Illicit drugs
was it in your mind to use them?
to sleep with
Read it
women.
again. Read it again.
What do you want him to have hooked on phonics?
Just calm down and let him read.
When
Number
you
one.
got the Quaaludes, was it in your mind that you were going to use these Quaaludes for young women that you wanted to have sex with?
Right.
What was Mr. Cosby's response
Dude,
to that?
yes.
Oh, thank you.
Dude, that answers the question.
Then read the next.
When,
Let me know when it's my turn. Because I hear you, but I already said, but I already said to you, right, that that's what the media did. They put it in a sentence that makes you think that it's leading. That's what lawyers do. You didn't read. They put it in a listen. All right. So if your mind is not open to it, then what's the point in talking about it?
Because you have
Right?
a different of opinion, so you should talk about
Yeah,
it.
but he keeps saying he don't understand. But I'm telling you, they phrased it.
Maybe
in-
he doesn't. Maybe
So-
someone in
But
radio
I'm
land
trying
does.
to. But he keeps going back to what am I talking about?
So the transcript that I'm reading is
Right.
not correct.
No, the transcript that you're reading says what it says, but it doesn't answer the question whether or not he, number one, even drugged a woman that he was accused of drugging, because he never admitted guilt. He simply said that Quaaludes that he got during that time frame, which was years ago, when Quaaludes was something that a lot of people use for a lot of different reasons, that he intended, right,
It
to
was still
use.
an illegal substance in the country.
We're not talking about legality.
Please continue. Please.
Okay,
Okay. He
wait.
intended.
Yeah, the Quaaludes that he got,
Okay.
he intended to use with
Okay.
women that he intended to have sex with, not for the purpose of having sex with. But
We don't know that.
But it doesn't say that either.
But you don't know that.
But it doesn't say that either.
Nor
Does
does
it
it say that the women were consensually wanting to have sex with
Yeah,
him
but
either.
that has nothing to do with it.
Of course it does.
Keon, right now, I don't want to put you.
So why
Hold on,
would you
put it on
use
pause
that?
real quick. Put it on pause real quick.
No,
because I don't want to take it personal. You know
Oh,
what I
you're
mean?
not supposed to.
But I'm just saying, okay, good example. You go to the club, you get a bottle, you sit a chick there, you know she can't handle it. You give her two cups of vodka, and she's done for the night, right?
Okay.
Did you give it to her with the intent?
Yes.
I'm not done. How you yesing? Did you give it to her with the intentions on getting her drunk to have sex with her, or you gave it to her with the intentions on having sex with her? It doesn't mean that's the reason why you gave it to her. You gave it to her because you're in the club trying to have a good time. You took drugs as a recreation. You feel me?
Oh, dude.
Some people do give women
You are-
too
Of
much
Of course,
liquor.
some people do, but you're
That
not
means that-
talking
but that's
about
the
that.
intention.
We're not talking about.
But
We're
you
talking
don't-
about whether or not you agree.
Right,
Whether or not
but
you
the
consented.
point is you don't know what his intentions
But nor
were.
do you. So why are we arguing that he
But-
did it if we don't know?
But
Because he
you in the wrong
admitted-
He
profession.
did not.
Because you sound like his lawyer right now. You
No,
sound
because
Thank you.
but why?
the man
Well,
had drugs.
Uh-huh.
He had drugs to give to women to have sex.
no, that's not what it said.
That's what it
No,
was.
no. What it?
We don't need him to. We don't need him to
No.
be.
Okay,
to,
but
to
again,
spell it out.
I'm just. Okay, well, but in anytime you're being sued in litigation, you have to spell it out. When you sit in a deposition, the law. What do you think this comes from? Where does the transcript come from?
Okay,
Where does
so
the transcript come from?
It came from them being in court. So you're telling me if he's going to sit there and spill the truth?
No,
if
he was
gonna
asked
spill
the
the truth,
question.
We wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Dion, number one, it wasn't in court. It was a deposition.
Okay, regardless.
It is not. It is very different because that's why a lawyer would sit there and say, "We're not answering that," because at the end of the day, you didn't admit guilt. Do you not understand that premise?
I understand that
Okay.
he admitted to having drugs and he had those drugs with the intentions of having sex.
No, that's not what it says.
Now, if you want to be his lawyer, I'm
Bro, but
see, you're
I mean,
so
the whole
focused
premise
on-
is wrong.
You're a lawyer. All you
No,
do is focus
no,
on
no,
words and
no.
details.
The
point is,
yeah.
the man had Quaaludes,
Right.
and he had them to drug women.
Right.
That's what, so he can have sex.
So,
he made jokes
hold on.
about
Right.
this shit on
Right.
stage.
Hold on.
He is a comic. He
Right.
even joked about it.
Right.
He
Right.
had a whole segment
Listen,
about drugging
He
women.
actually
Right.
did.
And now You have 50 women accusing him of doing it, and you're saying because he didn't say, I bought those drugs to give to women to get them fucked up so I can have sex with them without them knowing he ain't guilty? Come on,
The
man.
only
So,
thing.
but how do we assess
only
guilt
thing
in
that he
America?
didn't-
How do we
Fuck
assess?
how we assess guilt. It is the red room. We know what's going on.
Hey, wait a minute.
I thought
you
this
have
was-
you have burnt your own rule.
Y'all got me
I don't-
speaking all them words.
I don't understand. I'm confused
You
now.
burnt your own rule.
I am confused now.
Now, he
Number
could-
one, go ahead, babe. No, I had to for a little while. I'm obviously, I ain't got.
Odd man out?
Not more than odd man out. Ain't nobody here trying to read and act on what we read. We just we're just spouting opinions.
Okay,
so that's
listen.
just spouting
You're-
opinions.
You're
You're
worried
playing the
about the
lawyer.
two
No,
people
sir,
in the
I'm-
room. But what about the hundreds of listeners out there?
What
Don't-
about 'em?
So you
What
could,
about 'em?
You could be reaching them. So say your
Yeah,
piece.
you all keep feeding the beast because that's all y'all doing right
Right,
now.
but you're supposed to.
He
You
fed
you
the beast. He
you
fed the
feed
beast
the
Quaaludes.
opposite beast. So you might be able to reach
No,
people. Absolutely.
not at all. If we can't even simply look at what's written and just base that as you know the start of the conversation. If everybody wants to read into whatever was said and just go with it, then what's the point? It's just-
No, because at the end of the day, if we all looking at every single thing for how it's written, we don't have no conversation. Because we all speaking the same thing. If I can't say how I interpret something with my belief, we ain't got no
no.
conversation.
We can have a conversation. Of
We
course,
can't have a
of course
conversation
we
if
can.
I see everything how you see it.
No, I'm not even asking you to see it the way I see it. What I'm asking is, if you're gonna say that it says this and it doesn't say that, then that can't lead to a conversation. That's gonna lead to an argument because it's about an opinion for sure. But you then say, okay, because he's done it one time, then that must mean he's done it 50 times. I'm not even here to argue whether or not he did it. I know he did it. But he's no different than the dude that took the chick to the club and got her, liquored up, and then took her home and did whatever with it.
And he
It's
took
no
advantage
different
of
than
her.
the chick that
It's
got
still
coked
rape.
up in somebody's high-rise
rape.
apartment.
It depends
All
on
of
what
it's
your
rape.
intentions is.
Right.
It's
It's still
always
rape.
nah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it
If you
misleading.
use-
If you ask a question in a misleading way, you're gonna get the desired result. That's why they do it. That's why lawyers get paid what they get paid. It's all tricks and mirrors.
Then you in the wrong profession. I feel like
Oh,
you
I
should be a lawyer.
I
feel like you should be Cosby's lawyer.
Nah, I don't need to be Cosby. He's good.
Cosby ain't good. You crazy as shit.
What? He's
How
good.
was he good? They
He's
done took
okay,
all
he-
the shows off out of syndication. He ain't good no more.
He's not good
I'm
anymore.
not saying
He's
he
good
ain't
for the
got
rest
money,
of his life.
but he ain't damn sure ain't good.
Okay, let since he says questions are leading, right? The 1st question where he asked him, he used Quaaludes for women. After that,
Quellos.
After,
ma-
this is a report. This is not the transcript.
this
So what
I'm
you talking
reading the transcript. Please
about?
shh.
Okay. So start at the beginning.
Asked
and end at
whether
the end.
he had given young women the drug without their knowledge. Cosby's lawyer interjected or intervened, advising him not to answer.
And did we explain that?
So,
That
just
means
because,
guilty, right?
absolutely.
But where? How? This is what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about. How
Because
do we have a
why
conversation
wouldn't
about?
you not? Why? Again, we have our difference of opinion.
Sure.
You think one thing, I think another.
Uh-huh.
If your lawyer advises you not to answer, Dion, why? Because you want to protect your client. Because if your client admits, yeah, well then you've just committed a crime. That's why people plead the fifth to
And
not
is
incriminate
that
themselves.
why they say wait for your lawyer? Is that the reason why they say
His
it?
lawyer was already there.
I'm
We're
not talking about him. I'm talking about in general.
I'm
in
not
case,
talking about
well,
when
in case,
somebody's. I'm not talking about
when
when
you
somebody's
step out,
been arrested.
okay, when you step outside the door, just so you know, it is not wise for you to just open your mouth and tell the truth as you see it,
Why
because
not?
because the truth can be used against you. A lie can be used against you as well. Again, if a skilled lawyer sits in front of you and evokes emotion, you might say the wrong thing and still get caught up. That's why you pay somebody to tell you not to say anything. Because the minute you admit guilt, you open up a bigger can of worms. You lose half of your assets. You open up yourself to more litigation, and it makes no sense. That regardless if you're guilty or innocent, if you have a lawyer next to you paying him millions, if he doesn't stand up and say shut up, he's not doing his job.
Don't worry about things like that.
Once he,
See-
I mean, once you're in the room, I don't understand. But
So
okay.
what is he in the room for? He's the block.
Do you think Bill Cosby is guilty?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it, but he's no different than any other dude out there. That's what I'm saying.
No, he
I
is
give you-
different.
I give-
There
Oh,
is
man,
a
it's
great
guilty.
difference.
Listen,
There is
listen.
a great
I'm
difference.
telling y'all right now. Both y'all a little younger than me, but drugs back in the days were used and abused.
It's not about drugs.
Of course it is.
No.
What do you
No, it's
mean?
not. It's about the
yeah.
intention with the drug.
So
It's the
what
same
I'm
thing
saying,
with the drink.
Okay, so
If I go to a club and I see a dude pillaring a girl, piling liquor on a young lady,
yeah.
he's telling me what his intentions are.
Yeah, I'm gonna get up, fucked up, and then I'm
right.
fuck her at the
Because
end of the day.
why does he want to get her fucked up, Dion? Because she will have no consciousness of whatever it is that he wants to do. That what does that mean? That is abuse. That means that is a crime. You are you are using something to take advantage of someone to do your things with.
Okay.
Well, if you wanted to do all that stuff, why do you need them liquored up and drunked up to the point of, unconsciousness to do it?
Well, again, that makes it easier. Your drug of choice
That's a
versus
crime.
Well, of course, we're not. Is that what we're sitting here debating whether or not he's guilty of crimes?
No, you
Okay.
were relating him to.
No,
You said every other
what
man
I said,
in the club.
what my point is we cannot just jump on that one statement and take it to mean something.
No,
I
it's
simply
not one
said,
statement.
okay, whatever. This is what we started with, and that's what I'm working on.
Okay.
That statement in itself means nothing. That's why it's gonna go nowhere. I'll bet my two
That means
legs.
a lot, bro.
Well, then why was his why were they fighting to have it from not being sealed if
Yeah,
it means
that's
nothing and it
means a
goes
whole lot.
nowhere?
Here we go again with this interpretation, right?
If the statement
That's
didn't
what it
mean
is.
that, we wouldn't be having this
Yeah,
conversation.
no. The reason why we're having this conversation is because the statement's been put out there as to mean that he's guilty, as to mean that he says he would have done these things.
Why
And
did the judge unseal the records?
because the judge has that option to
No,
unseal the
why?
records.
Do you know why he did?
What do you mean? Because he says Cosby said one thing.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
so if the statements
Silly.
now this is a judge who know legalese, right?
No,
A
that's not
A judge
Keon.
doesn't know legalese.
So how does
A
the
judge-
Supreme Court work?
Listen, you're telling me a judge does not know when a lawyer is leading, as you say, or
This
or
wasn't
constructing the argument to go a certain way, right? He didn't have to unseal them. He could have said, this
apples
is
and
smoke
oranges.
mirrors.
Apples and oranges.
Why
Apples
did
and
the-
oranges.
Okay, but why did the judge?
The
unseal
judge
them?
said that
Why?
somebody
You know
that
why
stands
he
on
did
a
I don't know, I'm
soapbox.
sure
The
Miguel
judge
knows.
said
The judge said
for
because somebody that
who
stands on a
carries
soapbox
an
and
air of moral superiority and walks around.
These are your words,
giving
by the way.
views about the judge.
These
wrote
are your words.
moral
You done twisted
superiority.
them, but you keep
Okay,
going.
Read it, stating he put on this his surface of this claiming this, yet you're being charged, and the allegations made against you are very serious and criminal in nature. So you can't have just opposed the two. So we're going to release them. That's what he said. So you don't think a judge always wants to protect a case? So why would the judge, who is to be over the stuff, say, well, let's just release it? You don't think he would err on the side of the defendant to protect his rights, to protect his image? He could have done all of that, as you say, so that it wouldn't be leading for people to read it and assume Mr. Cosby is a rapist, but he didn't. What does that mean?
It means nothing.
Okay.
Number one,
Okay.
the
understand
judge
what I'm
is
saying,
the
Dion?
judge is as human as
I
you and
understand he a
Dion.
rapist.
Right, but hold on.
No,
The
the
judge
judge.
is as
I don't know
human.
if the judge is a rapist.
No,
The-
I'm
no.
saying you understand.
Just,
who-
I'm just
The
playing.
judge is as human as you and Dion, who
Okay.
sit in front of me, not ever talking to Cosby, but yet you formulated an opinion. So have I, right? We all claim that
We all
he.
got the same opinion.
We all
Wait
got
a
the
minute.
opi-
A judge is
Wait.
not supposed to be unbiased
yeah,
when he
you're
said
You're
at the
not-
bench?
You're not listening. I'm saying to you that he is as human as us, right? He's
Yes.
supposed to be unbiased. But why is there a Supreme Court with conservative and liberal judges? Because we all have different personalities. So although some are conservative and although some are liberal, we still see their biases when it comes to different issues, don't we? So how does that happen? Because they're human.
Because they're political.
No, because
appointees.
so is this judge as well. You're gonna now just because he agrees with what you think say he's a good judge? That's
No,
not how it works.
that's not what I said.
So what are you saying?
I never said
You're saying
that.
he's justified in his decision for sure.
He feels he's
No, I didn't.
justified in
We're
his
not
position.
talking about what you think. We know what he feels because he did it. But you're trying to say because he must have had a good reason, right? Because he did it.
Because
How do you
judges
come to that?
Because most
Maybe he hates
judges
black
don't.
people.
No.
Oh,
Most judges
most
don't.
judges. How the hell you know what most
They
judges
don't.
do?
They don't release sealed documents. That's why they're called sealed for a reason.
No, all documents are sealed, are they not? You can't
No.
just.
All documents are not sealed. And if you think
Any
that,
rape document is sealed, Keon. Any rape allegation document is sealed automatically.
oh yeah, why?
Because it's involved
crime?
somebody. Oh yeah.
Because of the nature of the crime.
This is what I'm saying. This is when we have these intellectually dishonest conversations.
Okay.
They don't make any sense.
Okay.
They just don't. If we're just talking pure passion, then say he's a bad guy. I'd agree with you.
Rapes are automatically sealed? I never heard that before. Never. Maybe the person's name is withheld or protected, but I never heard that rapes were automatically
So
sealed.
who sealed the document? Somebody
judge.
signed off on it.
The judge.
Somebody
of course.
signed off on it.
And again, we're talking a
Somebody signed
civil
off-
case,
if-
right? We're not talking a criminal. Let's make sure.
Okay, so
So-
but somebody signed off on sealing the document.
A judge.
Okay, which judge was it? Was it the judge that released it or a
No,
different judge?
it was a different
Okay, so
judge.
maybe the judge that sealed it, like Cosby,
Maybe, I don't know.
or he was trying to protect who needed to be protected.
The victim and the client and the defendant.
And maybe this judge doesn't like Cosby. Do you see how different things can make it more interesting than not? Right? You could say all day long that he sits on a soapbox and he preaches a standard of living that everybody should live up to, right?
That he
And
himself
he's
isn't
not
following.
he's not measuring up to it, if you will, right? But who made you jury? You're judge, but who made you jury to decide now? Then you should.
He
then,
did.
Of course, we know that, Keon. But I'm saying, does that then make it okay? That's my point, really.
Was make what okay?
For him to release it just be based on the fact that he feels that he's a hypocrite.
I don't know, but he
Okay.
did.
But
That's my point.
So you agree with the release of it, or you don't?
I don't know.
Okay.
It depends. Sometimes I can see why, and sometimes I can see why
So you
not.
think his explanation makes sense?
Yes
Hello?
and no.
If someone says something bad about you, you'd want me to tell you, right?
I think that if you're going
No.
to
What if it was someone you
Again.
thought was your friend? What do
preachy,
you-
preachy,
Hold on.
and
I'll be
hold
right.
yourself,
I'm not
you
taking
know,
this
Never
anymore.
did.
Good for you,
Yes,
good.
you
Never
did.
did.
Yes,
Never
you
did.
did.
You've
Even
never
his
heard Bill
television
Cosby
show.
say I.
Even his tele-
You've
yes,
never
yes, you
heard the
have.
man say I.
Yes, you have.
hear him say, "This is what we
He
need to
said,
do as a
He
community."
says I too.
yeah,
She won't say out
In
here,
any
she
case,
told me not to tell you.
If you're going
Do
to
not hang out with
No, he
espouse,
doesn't. He doesn't always say what we
You
need
don't
to
want
do.
me to tell
What does
Plenty
he
of
say?
times-
you're
Plenty of
right.
times
What is he-
he
what does he
pointed
say?
out the quote unquote
Oh my
hip
God,
hop
she's so
community and the
Right,
younger
but that's what.
generation.
Yeah, but he's
He
saying.
didn't say we. He said you.
Gretchen?
Which you
No,
all
you're
need to
missing
do.
my point. What I'm saying.
I completely did.
Okay, so what I'm saying is he
my
never
gosh,
says
she's
I'm the
so
king, I'm
annoying.
better
I
than you.
know,
That's not what he
just
says. He says we as a community need to do and have better standards. We
Which
as a
means
community
everyone
need
hates
to
you
do
because
things
you're
differently. We as a community need to.
See, no, I can't recollect all that. We. I can hear him
Whatever, she
saying,
has a right to know.
you
I can't go
all
out.
are doing this. When you're saying
But it's
you,
the same-
because when you're saying you are doing something, you are
Right.
holding yourself at a different standard. So I'm not saying he's saying he was the king,
Right.
But he definitely wasn't putting himself in the same category.
and
as
I
Right,
believe
but-
the statement that he made. These people are not. Me. I don't know these people. These people. Yes. When we pull up if you want to pull
These
up the
people are not me. What does that
If
mean?
you want to pull up the
But that's out of
transcripts-
context. You can't
if
just say,
you want
lying.
to pull up
Ay,
the
ay,
transcripts
ay.
of the pound cake speech,
Okay.
where he,
And what is his sole motivation of the pound cake speech?
who knows?
You would know.
But if he's saying-
You are of high intelligence.
If
So
he's
you know.
saying-
You right now for radio purposes.
Hold
You're
on.
pretending like you
Let
don't.
me finish.
All right.
If he's saying that he is not of these people and him are not on the same accord,
Mm-hmm.
then he is saying he's above them.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
which one of you disagree? Which one of you disagree with his statement and can't stand up there and say the same thing in reference to certain individuals that are out there in the rap game, certain individuals that are out there in movies, certain individuals that are out there on the street? You telling me you don't equate with that
So is your argument that he is saying we Or is your argument because now you're talking about how do we
again you
relate
are
to that statement?
you're too focused on the we and I. My point to
well, that's what you said.
Yeah, of course it is, but it has a greater context. Again,
what's the context?
you just focus on two words. The greater context is that he was
trying
saying,
to focus on the point.
Okay, the point is that culture, be it rap or whatever he termed in his speeches, that was detrimental to the community on a whole.
And being a serial rapist is not detrimental to the community?
Hello,
That
stop.
can be very detrimental.
Stop. That's not necessary. It's not gaining anything. We know it's not a good thing. We knew from before he said whatever, he wasn't perfect, right? We now know he's probably a rapist. Agreed? Did you ever think he was perfect? He painted a picture of maybe in some people's eyes.
They don't call you America's dad if you.
He didn't call himself America's
But he
dad.
allowed everyone to
what
call
you
him
want me?
that.
No, please don't call me that. I'm a rapist.
He
Please.
was selling
But
Jell-O and putting
please,
to children.
Please, I don't want you all to keep calling me America's dad. I'm really
He was
inside
put
a
up as
bad guy.
as a
Keon, nobody
prototype.
does that, and you know better. I don't know why. Again, we're having this stupid conversation.
No, it's not stupid.
It leads into dumbness.
It's not stupid.
It is. You keep putting in these little things that
It's
don't
not
mean
little
anything.
things.
It's a grand. It's
Because people put whether he
people, not he.
And he
People.
allowed it.
Oh,
And he
what do
allowed
you
it.
want him to do? You want him
So
to get up
if
there
you're
and say,
gonna
"I'm a
put
demon"?
yourself in a position where you want
He
to
didn't
be
do it.
exalted
No, Keon.
and you want to be referenced
listen.
as a model, he
Listen.
wanted his show to be he wanted his show to be a model for people to look at and emulate and imitate.
Listen,
Did
once
he
again,
not?
I'm-
Was that not the purpose
I'm-
of Cosby's show in different
No,
worlds?
the purpose for Cosby Show is to make dollars.
No,
that's
it wasn't
the purpose.
the only purpose.
No, that wasn't
It wasn't the
Nobody.
only purpose.
We're not number one. We're not counting the number of purposes because nobody knows.
Ah.
Nobody knows what was in his heart. All we know is what he says. And I can tell you right here now, the reason why is because America glammed onto him. Right?
Yeah.
He didn't. Let's say he did want. He's already famous, right? And all the stuff that he was reported to have done happened years before.
Does it matter?
And you're missing the point. The point was when he was producing material. Material was grabbed up by the masses, right? Advertisers jumped on it. So everything just kind of snowballed into him being who he was. You can't tell me that
Lies.
it doesn't matter.
Lies.
Listen, in the end, we all come to find out he was a bad guy.
No, before
Right?
that.
But I said that already.
You don't think
you're still arguing.
He started his
I said that
comedian.
already, you still arguing.
Yeah, what I'm saying by lies is
How the hell you sit at the Playboy Mansion with like 20 girls around you? You're not abusing every one of them. You feel me? Any one of them rappers right now, you watch them, they fly girls in. Basketball players. I used to mess with a chick that used to mess with Shaq, right? All she did with me, when she was with me was complain about it. I'm like, I don't need to be with you. Because all you doing is you fixated on him. All day long. All day long. That's what they do. Anybody any man any man in power typically abuses it when it comes to a female. Would you agree with that statement, or that's general?
I think that's general.
You think it's too general? Name anybody in power that doesn't.
Abuse women?
Yeah.
Probably lies.
Hold on.
I'm talking about people you know.
I'm sorry, real quick, hold on, real quick. Just because our time is just about up.
Yeah.
But y'all just hit a nerve, hit a chord in the people that we could definitely continue on another show. But right now, the time is up, people. We need some of y'all to call in and really get engaged with what's going on. Because obviously there's a lot of different opinions.
Well, you gotta give them the number.
A lot of different beliefs, a lot of different thoughts. We gonna get that number. We ain't gonna get that number tonight though, because AT&T ain't acting right. So we gotta make sure AT&T act right. All right. Listen, we here in the red room. My name is Dion. We got Keon here, and we got that dude Miguel.
That dude Miguel. That's what all you people gonna be saying after you hear this.
You're
That
right.
dude Miguel.
You're
Shaking
right.
your head and saying, that dude Miguel.
We gonna holler at y'all. We love y'all. Thanks for listening in.
Good night.